Well, everyone, today we have a jam-packed video full of a bunch of Nintendo Switch 2 rumors, and I want to stress the rumor aspect of this. Of course, almost everything we've been talking about with Switch 2 for the most part has been rumors. There's been a few sparing leaks in there as well, but today especially, since I gathered just rumors together, I want to make sure that we take this with the appropriate approach here, and that is to be skeptical. While I'll get excited at times and talk about how much I want something to be real, it's important to remember that we don't know if any of the stuff in today's video are going to end up being true about Nintendo Switch 2, but what we do know is that the stuff is extremely exciting. We have rumors about the literal exact release date, not even reveal, release date of the Nintendo Switch 2. We've got other rumors and images and looks at what the actual thing looks like. We have things about the features about it, including upgrades made available to Nintendo Switch games and more. Pretty exciting stuff. However, we got to remind you we're on a road to 140,000 subscribers. If you're interested in everything about Switch 2 and want to be as up to date as possible, just go ahead and subscribe right here at Nintendo Prime. And yes, once it's revealed, baby, we get into the game coverage, and that's what's really, really exciting. All right, let's go ahead and dive in with this first article over on a Spanish, I think, website, or some sort of foreign website anyways, where they claim to know the date. And we did a Google Translate of this. So we're over here with a Google translation of this page. And this says exclusive, another source confirms Nintendo Switch 2 release date. Now, I find this interesting because we didn't really have a confirmed release date. We had some speculation around March, speculation around May and June. But as we go down here, it says Nintendo's preparing to reveal its new system. A lot of this stuff that we don't really care about, there is rumors about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond being a launch title. Those rumors do exist, but let's go ahead and go down to where it matters. And this is this section here. So it says, yet today we are able to give you a sensational piece of exclusive information. We had the opportunity to speak with a very reliable source in the sector who chose to remain anonymous, who confirmed to us that the release date of Nintendo Switch 2 will be set for March 28th, 2025. This is perfectly in line with what other international insiders have been saying for some time, which not necessarily, because other insiders have said May and June, but let's go back to the article. And then it goes on to say, the first generation of Switch was in fact presented with a sort of teaser in late 2016 and started a reveal event in January of the following year, with the launch then taking place on March 3rd. The date just confirmed by our source is thus in line with what we expected. Nintendo Switch 2 releasing Switch 2 on the border between the old and new fiscal year. Of course, we have to wait for Nintendo's official announcement to have the final confirmation. Things could change slightly over the weeks. At the moment, we have no indication which games will be available. Now, what's interesting is when we scroll up here, it says third-party companies specializing in the creation of console accessories have also confirmed that the broad design of Switch 2 will be. What is fascinating the more that you read this is that they did note that this information seems to be coming from third-party manufacturers who also expect to release their accessories around that time. It made me really get skeptical about this entire date. Now, I'm skeptical anyways. March 28th is a Friday, but I was skeptical of all of this regardless because, again, this is one of those situations where something feels a little off about what they're saying. I would love for this thing to come out in March. I would love for it to be a March 28th release. I'm not poo-pooing on that. I would love for it to be real. And I'd be super excited if they announced this in January and it's coming in March. And oh, baby! And that's a week after, it was 8 days after the release of Xenoblade Chronicles X. But I am not going to get my hopes up for a literal last-second launch this fiscal year. But it could happen. Now, we have to go over to Twitter because we're going to be talking about Mike Odyssey. And again, as I said, rumors, and Mike Odyssey hasn't been right on everything we've covered from him in the past. So I want to be very clear about that. We know what this is going in. Be skeptical. But he put up this tweet back on December 28th, and he says, I don't usually share information, and I'm not a leaker, but I recently heard that Nintendo is diligently working on multiple patches for several games. Not all of them. These patches will be showcased in the upcoming Switch 2 trailer. My understanding is that we won't be upsold on playing Breath of the Wild or The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in 4K resolution on Switch 2, which is fantastic news. So, essentially free updates for those games. Additionally, the trailer is complete, and the highlights include screen size, new Joy-Cons, third-party support, and a new dock. The screen size will be relevant to the Let's Play Together feature in table mode. I'm not a leaker, and then the image credit comes from the Nintendo Switch 2 Reddit. Actually, this image comes from MJ, or I know this because I've been talking to him behind the scenes, possibly hiring him to do some designs for our channel, but MJ created this, and I think he originally posted it at Family Boards. Scrolling down, he also says C equals connect, and I think this is I think this is interesting when we talk about the C equals connect, because he goes on to explain that like this is what he was told or something like that. So like for Joy-Cons, this person says could be related to the new way to attach the controllers to the console, connect the Joy-Cons. He goes on to say many possibilities here. Connect one system to another to play with friends on the go. Connect to the TV and dock. He's just guessing here. Connect to whatever device is plugged in. Obviously, connect with friends. Could be, yeah. So he's just guessing. I don't know if the C equals connect. I know that's what he's claiming he was told, but it's still one of those things where we don't really know what that C button is. But hey, it's a rumor. He's saying it means connect. That is a thought process many people have had, but not really sure what connect means. Some people think it could be the way to connect and disconnect the Joy-Cons and turn off the magnetism. Lots of different possibilities there. But what's interesting is another self-proclaimed insider, because Mike claims he's not an insider, right? So he's not trying to act like he is one, although he's acting like one. It's one of those weird things. It's kind of like me when I'm not an insider, but then sometimes I get information. This other person always says they're an insider, and yeah, they've been right about a handful of things since June, even if some of those things I feel like can be basically pushed to other people and other sources first. But look, we're covering them because they quoted Mike, so we're going to go in here and see what they had to say about this. And this is Samus Hunter. You guys know my feelings on Samus Hunter at this point. I don't find them to be reliable, but hey, you know, they made it back into another video, so congrats, Samus Hunter. Regarding updates on Switch 1 titles for greater compatibility with Switch 2, I can confirm that Nintendo has built the system to allow these types of updates. Although there has been work on a better version of Breath of the Wild, I'm not currently aware of how it will be handled. So what I do know, however, is that 2 online-focused titles, which will be important to keep support because their direct sequels will arrive no earlier than the end of 2026, will have updates with extra content as well as some new features related to the console's new services. Now, I don't know what games she's talking about, but this just kind of adds to this whole idea of upgrades to current games, upgrades to future games. I think all of this is just really fascinating to look at. I think that Samus Hunter, I don't know that they're actually legit and might be just stealing information from elsewhere. But what I do know is that, hey, a friend of the channel, Andres Restart, I know, I'm not going to say he's like 100% all in that Samus Hunter is legit, but he has been covering Samus Hunter over the last 6 months or so. And maybe not 6 months, maybe like 3-4 months, but and has been fairly paying more close attention to Samus Hunter than I have and been getting a lot of things correct before they're announced. So take that for what it is. I think the biggest deal here is the idea that Nintendo could do upgrades to the Switch. We do have to remember, Furukawa did tell us he had something that he needed to share about backwards compatibility, but he would do it at a future date. I don't know what there is to share about backwards compatibility. You put the cartridge in, it plays. You download your game, it plays. You transfer your saves, it plays. Kind of like a current Switch. However, if there's going to be upgrades to the games, that would be something that he would want to share. And are those going to be paid patches? Are they going to be free patches? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But one thing I want to look at here is this is a mock-up. But this is one that is based on the next handheld and other leaks that are out there, and might be our first real look at what Nintendo Switch 2 could look like when we open that box on launch day. So we're gonna go over here to this this Eddie guy here. We have this stuff here. This is pretty cool. So this is a look at the dock based on the leaks. Pretty interesting here. You can see the back panel laying down. You can see the Joy-Cons. Obviously, these are just renders. I believe they're made in Blender. As we go over here, you can see the back of the system here with the supposed case on. Obviously, there's a guess that the gap here for the cords is that's where it's going to be. But it's really interesting. You can see the 2 USB ports on the side, the Switch 2 in the slot, the Switch 2 Joy-Cons just sitting there on the side. And then we have this other picture of the front. Now, there's actually another image here that wasn't included in this batch, and I want to make sure I link to and give credit to everything because this is over on the Nintendo Switch 2 Reddit. And when we open this up here, we're going to see those same images, but one additional one. We have this one right here, showing that different back design, and then this one right here. This is the one that I said looked different. You can kind of see how this person decided to put together the back and how that connects. And you can see obviously the ports there with the Ethernet, the HDMI, the USB-C for the power. So again, this is not the actual Nintendo Switch 2, but this is the best guess fan render of the Nintendo Switch 2 that I think exists out there. So I just thought that was worth looking at and just imagining the possibilities of Nintendo Switch 2. The thing is, we're not done either. We have one more rumor, and this one's interesting for a number of reasons, but it's something we should have covered a few days ago. But yeah, I haven't really been making videos the last couple of days. I've been a little under the weather, but let's look at this go. And we have Fami Boards, a known leaker, claims that Pharrell Williams' company is producing trailer music along with Sabrina Carpenter. Now, I can't look at the post because it is hidden, but it does look like this post does exist. and is real. Now, this isn't saying that Pharrell Williams and Sabrina Carpenter are both working on it. It's Pharrell Williams' company that Sabrina Carpenter works for. And I did some digging, and indeed, Sabrina Carpenter does work for Pharrell Williams' company. So, the big thing here is Sabrina Carpenter is actually a really big Nintendo fan. She hosted an event back in 2016 at Nintendo New York for some Disney game that was coming to 3DS. She has done a lot of other events as well. She's been spotted out publicly playing 3DS. Obviously, this summer, she dropped a song in Espresso that literally has a line in it about switching to Nintendo, which was a Nintendo Switch reference. She's a huge Nintendo fan and really probably hits on a demographic that Nintendo enjoys. Nintendo does like to use celebrities at times for promotional purposes. The late Robin Williams was used at one point to promote Zelda and the 3DS. We've had other things out there like John Cena. He was a really big guy pushing the Nintendo Switch at the beginning of the generation. Obviously, Sabrina Carpenter could have a song in the trailer. That's kind of what's going on, is that there'll be a song in the trailer or something like that that's from Sabrina Carpenter or made by Sabrina Carpenter for the trailer. And then obviously Sabrina Carpenter could appear in commercials and stuff as well because she's a huge fan of Nintendo. So all of this could work out. There could be other celebrities involved with the promotion as well. Nintendo does have a celebrity program, as we've heard from Kit and Krista, who used to work on it. So they do have a program where they work with celebrities and try to get as much Nintendo stuff out there as they can for whatever reasonable pricing they can do. Obviously, hiring celebrities to do things expensive, but it can be worth it in the end. I would think Nintendo feels like the John Cena get for Switch was clearly worth it. I'm sure they'll feel like Sabrina Carpenter and others for Switch 2 will be worth it as well. So just throwing that out there, as that is something that appears to be rumored out there. Now, take everything we talked about today with the biggest grains of salt. On the March 28th date, the Sabrina Carpenter making music for the Switch 2 trailer. Obviously, all the stuff about upgraded games, as exciting as that is, and as amazing and wonderful as that is, it's still one of those things where we don't really know. And our usual suspects like PH Brazil and Nate the Hate and others are kind of just staying silent in all of this. Now, we have one last thing I want to get to, and I think I forgot to open it, so 1 second here. This comes from Next Handheld, that guy we've been covering many times over the last couple of weeks. I should say at least a couple of times, because, you know, he's out there and he's dropped those supposed real images of the Switch 2 dock and everything. And he has a Twitter account, and he puts some stuff on his Twitter account that it's at least worth paying attention to. Now, not this first one. He kind of got fooled with a Ghoulie kit. This is a fan-edited image. This image right here is not real. This is not a real image of a Switch 2 controller. This is actually a modded Ghoulie kit controller. But anyways, it doesn't really matter. You know, it wasn't something he's seen or claimed he saw. He just kind of got fooled by it. But he said he would answer 5 questions, and these are some statements he is saying based on what he has heard. So he opened the kickstand and he found a micro SD Express engraved. Now, micro SD Express is that faster, modern, current version of SD Express. So that is really good and can reach speeds that are comparable to the internal storage. It's going to be expensive, and it is expensive right now, but also the price will come down over time. So, you know, if you're going to future-proof your system, that's a way to do it. Also, the micro SD Express standard in terms of the slot can also accept the old micro SD cards, so you'll still be able to use your current ones as well. But this is where he said he had that, you know, top most upvoted questions here. And he never answered mine, but he answered the other one. And this is the one that's kind of blown up. He says, can you post a photo of the blue and orange Joy-Cons? Because he said there were blue and orange Joy-Cons. But this is what he posted. And I said, that's a black Joy-Con, though with an orange tablet. And black and orange and blue for the Metroid console. Could be the wristband thing. So people are pointing out that, hey, maybe this is just the, the strap, right? The Joy-Con 2 strap. And maybe other aspects of this are orange, but others remain black. And he goes on to say that, like, the matte black is the color of the Joy-Cons, he said at one point, but, like, the colors are below the surface. So here's an image that we found over on the Nintendo Switch 2 Reddit that shows at least an idea of what that could be, where maybe the joysticks and the buttons and other things that are beneath the surface, quote unquote, are the actual orange and blue. But, you know, I don't really know. It's kind of weird. His images, this is one of those images, as we go back to it here, where I'm like, I don't really know about this. This feels kind of weird, if I'm being completely honest. So let's go back to his replies here, where he answered a few more questions, and nothing too exciting, but I think worth mentioning here. So he even mentioned that, like, posting that thing is helping him destroy his credibility. He realizes this. So as we go down, he says he'll answer, and he's like, you know, not sure if you knew what it did. Now, this is about the C button. He takes a guess on the C button. doesn't seem to be based on any direct knowledge. So we can kind of ignore that response there. He says, any idea when it's going to be revealed? And he said he heard January, but nothing official. Will you post more pictures? And then he did post more pictures. As he said, he posted like that Joy-Con stuff. Where is the plus sign? Is it on the wrong side of the system? So if you guys remember that image where I'll show you right here where, yeah, it's a lot of AI generation involved, where he said plus connects to plus. So he's saying it's not actually on the wrong side. So I find that to be quite interesting. And he says, what is the C button? He doesn't really know. And then there is this. So that is the answer to all of his questions. Again, not a crazy amount of new information, but still enough to have a conversation. So I want to know what you guys think about this stuff down in the comments below. Then this latest next handheld stuff is just kind of sus to me, but we still has this image and, you know, that image, and it is what it is. You guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. I am Nathaniel Rumpeljans from Nintendo Prime, and as always, I'll catch you in the next video.